Hello and welcome to The Link. I'm Joanie Sutter. This is a program all about linking you with the resources in your community. Today is a program about the community. And is a community enriched when all of its members, regardless of age, ability, income, or life situations, have access to the creative process that can provide educational or therapeutic value for them? Our guest today thinks so, along with a host of others who work to make Aim for a Better Tomorrow a success. Join me in welcoming Rod Norwood to the Link. Thank you so much for being here. This is a very interesting show because we've talked to artists in the past, and we've talked to nonprofit organizations who deal with people that are at risk. But we've never talked to a nonprofit organization that kind of mixes the two. So tell us a little bit about Aim for a Better Tomorrow.
Well, that was actually our business plan, was in bringing the community together. It involves everybody. So there are a ton of local artists and musicians who are struggling, who are really good. Mm-hmm. So, they get paid to do work. There are a number of organizations that are doing great things with art and music programming who've lost their funding. So we step in. We just bring those two together.
Those two together. How do you bring those two together? Because Aim for a Better Tomorrow, just give us a snapshot of Aim for a Better Tomorrow. So I saw on your Facebook page, which is a great place to go. It's a great resource to see video of some of the art initiatives. And one is like an open mic. Okay, it happened in Torrington.
Yes.
And it's not called open mic, but it's similar to that, where different people got up to perform. And these were people that were in some type of recovery program.
Correct. That program, I had in the back of my mind, but it got started at the Performance Hub in Torrington with those people at their open mic, because I saw the caliber of music that was coming from, in that case, guys who were homeless, who in Torrington, and were writing their own music, and were dealing with substance abuse. Mm-hmm. So I thought, get local musicians and actually do a concert. So we hired 3 of the local guys, and they're in different stages. One of the guys that performed is the bass 3 has been clean for years. One of them is struggling to. One of them, not so much. It's just he stays clean long enough to play, and then goes on.
Not.
And then because of that crowd, I hired a backup band. Because you never know who's going to show. That's
true. Good plan.
Yeah. So we did that, and then we had, as a total surprise, when I put out the word about the Recovery Road event, starting there, we had just an over-the-top, phenomenal local musician, Steve Deadman, call and ask if he could come do a number.
And he did.
And he did.
And he did. Now, what was the audience like?
The audience was great. It was a mix of people that I've known, friends that heard about it that came in, and local
community members.
Members.
Now tell me, if someone were in recovery, a recovery situation, how would they hear about the opportunity? And that might give them cause to come out and talk to somebody about performing.
To set that up, originally I talked to those guys.
Yeah.
Told them to take it back to their communities.
Yeah.
And talk about it. And I contacted a really good ongoing relationship that we have is with the owner of LaSalle Market.
Isn't that a great place?
In
That's
Collinsville.
in Collinsville, yes.
And when I talked to Eileen about the program, that is one of her hot buttons. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she hooked me up with other associations that work with
The homeless.
Substance abuse.
Or homeless.
This was, yeah.
This was substance abuse.
This was, yeah, primarily substance abuse. These guys just happen to be, well, two of them. One of them is living in a shelter. One is living with friends. And one is clean on his own, doing great. So I said homeless. Substance abuse.
Substance abuse issues.
Is the, yeah.
So Aim for a Better Tomorrow is working with other organizations
Yes.
to partner with different communities of people in different stages, because it's not only recovery that you're talking about. This
No.
is about the community, and in the community we may have someone in recovery, we may have some who are not, we may have some who are in at-risk situations, children for example.
Correct.
Who are in at-risk situations. And what your organization is saying is everyone has the right to, in community, to have access to creativity, to be a part of their life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so you're making a space for that as community venues where people can come out and watch a performance or take part in something like that?
We are doing it. We're just starting to do community command events. So far, we've gone to specific places. We did 2 events for WGBY at the Springfield Hall of Fame and at the Asparagus Festival in Hadley.
That's fabulous.
So we just went out, we did art programming based on their themes to support them and their mission.
Yeah.
We've done similar things for Our Farm, which is a 4-H educational farm in Bloomfield.
Tell us about that, because Bill Benson, who people may have seen on Nutmeg TV perform, who's a great guy,
Yes.
who's part of the band.
Yep.
What was that 4-H event like?
They were just having a fundraising gala. They are a phenomenal organization.
They are.
They serve somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 14,000 kids a year. And they're in our neighborhood, so we support them. And they needed music. They needed a band for that event. I've known Bill and Eric and Mark, the 3 guys that made up the band, for some time. So I just said, hey, guess what you guys are doing?
They're like, sure.
And they said, sure.
And it was outside.
And it was outside.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw on your Facebook page, there was a little video snippet of them. I think it happened in July, and
June 24th.
okay.
Yep.
And it was in Bloomfield
In Bloomfield.
at the time.
Yes.
Okay, and so that's good. Now, we have to tell the viewers a little bit about you, because
Sure.
you didn't start in the nonprofit world, really. You were in business, and this is how nonprofits start. You know, it starts with a seed and an idea and somebody who's going to step forward and take it and then make it grow so it can be large enough to sustain itself after the original idea was planted, which is really a great thing. And so now you're still currently working, but now you're in the airline business, so you're flying all over the place.
Well, I am, and I've been, most of my working career has been sales or business management. I have been in art music, or done art and music most of my life, and been involved in charity almost, with Rotary Club, with Habitat International, other organizations.
Those are good ones.
So when, yeah.
Good to pattern after.
So when I started thinking about getting back to spending more time with art and music, we
It
just
all
put the
kinda
two
came.
together. Yeah.
So you're the founder, and you're the CEO, and you're collaborating with other nonprofit organizations, and you recently had a very good meeting with the community renewal team. Can you tell us
We did.
what that's about? Because that's a big group.
It is a really big group. We got a call a week or so ago just from putting out the word from them about a particular project that they have that they lost funding for, the Generations Project, which is grandparents who are caring for their grandchildren.
There's a lot of that now, isn't there?
There's a lot of that, and they started off specifically asking us if we could put together art programming that dealt with the traumas involved when a grandparent loses a grandchild, or vice versa, or some of the other stuff. So fortunately, one of the artists that I know work with does a mandala art project that is all about customizing the work for whatever traumatic situation that people need to work through. So we met with them today. We've got to go back and plan and see how to put that together. But what they ask us to do, this is brand new. We haven't started. We just had the initial meeting.
When you say
today.
generations, you're talking about the grandparents, you know, the whole family line, in other words. Is that what generations is referring to?
Their program, Generations, is just for the group of where there are no parents involved.
Right.
It's strictly grandparents watching over grandkids.
Okay.
So they're not in the system.
Right, right. Okay. All right. And so now you're bringing this mandala piece to it.
That's, I think, how we're going to start it. They would like long-term programming, and which, by the way, funding would not hurt.
Right, right. Unfortunately, you know, I know everybody who's maybe watching, we've recently, you know, this show can air at a variety of different times through the year, but the state of Connecticut, you know, as well as we do, that they've experienced some budget cuts, and a lot of times, unfortunately, those budget cuts are coming in areas that really the needs are very, very prevalent.
Their budget was cut to zero.
Yeah, so not even
by
cut,
the state.
just that's it.
It was just eliminated. So we're going to go in and do whatever I can afford to do until we get more funding.
Right.
They would like once a week programming for the number of kids that are there. So yeah, so we're gonna do a number of things. We'll do mandala art. We'll do watercolor, clay, music programming.
Right.
Just week by week.
Week by week. Now, I read on your website, and tell us a little bit about this. One of your thoughts for the mission of the organization is to take the nucleus of what you've built and not just keep it in one area, but have it be something that could be kind of cookie cutter in different parts of the state. And so it would hit a broader base of people. And so you had said instead of buying a building, for example, that, you know, maybe people in the neighborhood could come to, or in the surrounding area, if you take that little nucleus, you're going to have a wider berth of people that you're going to be able to serve. Tell us about that idea.
Sure. When I started, research showed that a lot of good organizations, or a lot of organizations do a bunch of good stuff, had their budgets cut. So I thought instead of renting a building and duplicating what was already happening, it made more sense to go out and meet those people, find out what programming needs they had, and then go out and badger the artists and musicians I already knew, find new ones, and match them so that we fill that need. It seemed like a lot more effective way to get direct money into direct programming that was needed right now. I think so far it's, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No. So far it's working very well.
So far it's worked so well. I almost every day something comes up, like this morning's with the community renewal team, and I say, it's another serendipity.
Yes.
You know, they come up, they have this program that's geared for generations. I did not even know this about the artist I was bringing to work with them from the Mandala Project. That is her hot button. So she is absolutely locked into that.
So you're kind of making really good connections, which is
we're making really good connections. It has just been such a phenomenal thing, not only to see the outpouring of help from business people, from artists, from musicians, but just how easy it's been to match them up with things that they care about.
Right, and I think that's what it creates the longevity, because if there's passion in it,
yes,
you know, which you definitely have, but if an artist has passion for a certain thing, or like you said, LaSalle's, you know, she had a real soft spot in her heart for a certain area, then, you know, that's going to be something that she's going to really engage and continue on
Yes.
and want to provide. Now, we should mention that you're fairly new to this.
We are baby new. I got the IRS acceptance letter December 8th, 2015.
How nice. Congratulations.
Thank you, yeah.
That's good. That's good, because that 501c3, for those of you who don't work in nonprofit, that 501c3 is what gives you the opportunity to apply for grant funding.
Apply for grants, give people tax deductibleness for their donations.
For their donations, and it's important for you also as the public, because that means that nonprofits that have that designation have to provide certain paperwork to the state.
Yes.
We have to go through certain vetting processes, so people know that, okay, if that organization is getting money, they have to go through a variety of reporting relationships with the state to make sure that it's being used for what it's supposed to be used
Exactly.
for, which we all know is very, very important for nonprofit work. So can you tell me a little bit about the Dream Catcher program?
Yes. We touched a bit on Recovery Road being a music program for adults with substance abuse. Dreamcatcher is a program that is for kids that are at risk, that either have suffered trauma, for typically homeless, but not necessarily homeless, but that have undergone some traumatic, either domestic violence, sexual abuse, something that has them pulling in, to give them something to focus on, to help them take a look at what would make them happy, what their dreams and hopes are.
Finding that creative space within.
Finding that creative space, and it's a simple project. We go in, we talk to them for a little while about themselves. We have them fill out 2 or 3, 4 questions about what they would like. Sometimes it's just make mom happy. You know, I want to go to college. I want to do this. But and I'm saying this just based on research, because the program actually starts July 23rd.
But you did meet with a young man, a young boy, who many years ago you met with a young boy.
Absolutely.
And tell us that story about what he wanted.
Years ago ran into a 6th grader who won his division for an art project, lived in the north end of Hartford. And when I sat down to ask him what he wanted, I sat down with him. I said, my God, this is so great. What do you want to do with it? He looked at me very calmly. Lived to get out of high school. His answer, that's the dangerous neighborhood he was in.
And
So-
that's the power of what he was doing, because that was his ticket out.
That was his ticket out, right. It
Ticket
was.
out to something beyond
Yes.
that, if he so chose. And so what a wonderful thing to, and it also probably helped to channel that positive and creative energy that he had.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
So
What do the
in that-
people that are participating in your programs, what do they say? What do the guys who got up and played in Torrington, were they just like on fire with the experience?
They really are. Yeah. Guys who played in Torrington are still calling me, talking about it. We've had, Steve Dedman called again to see if he could be part of the second one. Our second one, for those of you who would like to come, July 16th, we have Cantonville Hot. At the end of the day, from 8 to 10, we're going to have the second Recovery Road program. And we're going to be selling raffle tickets for a Martin guitar.
Oh my goodness.
That Eileen and one of the musicians there, Mark Woodcocks, donated.
How nice.
Yeah.
How nice.
So
if you see this, if you happen to see this, because this show may air after July 16th,
Yeah.
I don't know, but there will be further relationships with
Oh, they'll know
Canton
about it because I'm
with
going to post it on
Collinsville.
Facebook today. So,
But,
no.
but yeah, you can check. Well, that's a
No.
good thing, But no, Facebook is a
Yeah,
really good
yeah.
way to stay in touch with calendar events.
Yes.
They're on your website also. But in addition, these are relationships that you foster both in Torrington.
Right.
That's a great facility, by the way. You want to mention where it's located in Torrington?
Oh, the Performance
The
Hub.
Performance Hub.
Performance Hub is right at the corner of Main and Water Street, and it is a great location.
And I think in order to park there, I don't know if the area church lets you park, or you might have to park down in the municipal lot. Anybody who's gone to Warner Theater in Torrington, you kind
Yeah.
of know. And they just redid their Main Street, so it's beautiful. They have large sidewalks now for ease of walking, and you can park in one of the municipal lots
Yes.
just across the street and be part of the, because they have art shows across the street at
Yes.
that art gallery there.
There
so
are
people
there are two galleries across the street. There are 5 Points and the Nolke Gallery.
Okay, I only know about 5 Points. Okay.
Yeah.
So
or,
that's
or both right there.
And that's another thing we were talking about. Maybe there will be an art show there from Aim for Better tomorrow.
Well, yes, and matter of fact, one of the artists I hooked up with recently, Kathleen Kelly from New Hartford.
Yes, tell us about her.
She is a phenomenal artist, and stepping aside from her traditional work, she recently worked with a group of
Artists in Recovery?
artists in recovery. Trying to think of how to say that. Yes.
Yeah.
A group of artists in recovery who collectively did a painting.
One piece?
One piece that looks like it was done by one person, but it was them as a collective.
What a neat idea.
She wants to take this and make a mural, do a mural there in Torrington, and have it a public space where people can come in, you show movies, you
What a
just
great
bring
thing.
the community together.
Bring
Yes.
the community together. And
Yeah.
so your drumming circle, we talked about West Hartford. There was a drumming circle. I call it a drumming circle, but
Yeah.
it sounded like a drumming circle that was in West Hartford. That's on your Facebook page, which was great. The mural that everybody can take part of. It's having that individual piece and then becoming part of the community with it. So
Yeah.
would you come back and visit with us? You're in your baby stages of, but it sounds like you're doing an awful lot for being in the baby stages. You have a board of directors. You've got these great relationships with some of the bigger nonprofits in the area who you can work alongside with. But we'd love to have you back to talk about this as it goes further. Would you do that?
I would absolutely do that
Good.
anytime.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the link. And on behalf of all of us at Nutmeg TV, until the next time, I'm Joanie Sutter.